Hello everyone. If you want to go to my free course, type henry-ward.co.uk into Google, then go to Henry Ward Trading, and then this here is my free course. Click on Start Today. If you want to go on to the webinars that I do every Sunday and every Wednesday, click on Trading Academy and then click on Start Today. So this is the Trading Academy. This is the full training, the webinars, direct access to me, everything that you want. So we now have the Nasdaq, and looking at this setup here, looking at the bars, we have had a lower low here. Okay. Now the problem is with this lower low is that this could be argued that this is actually a double bottom. So that's one of the things that we can argue here. This is also a double bottom rather than a lower low. Now, for the market to stop and slow down, this is what we're sort of looking for. These are the kind of things that we are wanting to see. We're wanting to see the market, the structure slow down. Now, if we look here back a little bit further, we had the same scenario happen here, whereas we actually had a triple bottom, and then we had a movement to the upside. Now, we may get a little small pop up and then come back down again and touch there again. And let's see, will this pop up to the upside? So are we confident that this is going to pop to the upside? Absolutely not, no. Absolutely not, no. We are not confident at all. We have that sort of trend line there coming along as well. So we're not confident of this popping up, but we do have a little bit of momentum there that's moving sideways, that there's not huge amounts of pressure to the downside again. So we seem to have sort of tailed off a little bit. So don't be afraid to keep an eye on that. So we do have stuff going on that potentially could be a turn here, but we'll keep an eye on it. Now the probability is much lower. Why? Because the overall momentum is down, but let's keep an eye on this. Let's see if this is the turn to the upside. We have a look at the S&P. We have literally an identical setup. Again, we have that sort of level there. Now I'm going to pop in a horizontal underneath that just to see if there's anything there. Obviously, I'm using the web browser, so there's all my drawings that are gone. We don't have anything much going on here. We have a little bit of a touch there, but it wouldn't be something now I'll be massively jumping out at me. It wouldn't be massively jumping out. But we do have this setup. Now, we talked about this potentially coming back and hitting its head off a trend line. I think this was on Sunday, I think it was. We talked about it. So is that a trade we should be taking short now? Now, obviously the bar's not finished. The bar's not finished. The bar hasn't even started actually, so the bar's not finished. So we can't be looking at this as gospel, but it's still a valid question here. Is that trade there valid? Is that valid there? Or are we better off letting it make a lower low? Are we better off letting that? Then the question is that how strong is that level? Is that a key level? Is this a key level? Because if we look at any of the lows previously have all been broken. So you then have to work out, do you think that this is going to go up, or do you think this is going to go down? Which of the two are you most confident that will happen? And if you're more confident that that will go down, then you take a similar trade to this. Now, actually, that trade is valid because if we look at the green bar, we're still using the green bar. We're not using the red one. Absolutely, based on momentum, you would expect this to go down. Remember, momentum is key. So is that floor there a key level? No. Is that there a better level? Yes, it is. But is it a key level? Again, no. That there would probably be the next key level. We've had 1, 2 touches here, and then 1 here. So 1, 2, 3 touches. But I know no one wants to talk about the S&P hitting that level. Now, I would check the other ones before having my target there. I would check to see if the S&P, the Nasdaq, and the Dow have any levels before that would potentially hit there. So is the trade valid? Absolutely. And we're not using the red bar, we're using the green bar. So the yesterday's closed bar. So that's the one we're looking at. So then the question lies, is that a phase 2? Well, it's not really. It's not really, is it? But we're trading momentum. Are we early or late in this trend? And the answer is we're late in this trend. Absolutely. If we look at the Dow, again, the Dow has that level there again. We're going to pop that in so we can actually have a look. So we have a double bottom there. Also, I'm pretty sure there's a trend line as well. Not quite hitting it, but we're close. We have a quick look, see how that level is. Okay, on the Dow, on Wall Street, there's a better level there. 1, 2, 3 touches. It's come back and bounced. But again, do we expect the market to hold at this level, or do we expect it to break down through? And based on what we've seen and what we've learned, we'd expect this to break down through. Okay, would expect it to break down through. So out of the 3 of them, the only one that actually has the setup now is the S&P 500. So the S&P is pulled back. There is a little bit of momentum to the downside, or room to the downside. The momentum is down, so we do have a potential trade in that. It's whether you think that downward pressure will continue, or would you think that this is the beginning of that turn. Now, do I expect us to have a big bull run straight away? No, I would expect some sideways movements before it takes off. Eventually, this will take back off again. German DAX. So we talked about this last week, being a potential double top, and then taking this short right here. And that short right there. Using that green bar, you would have got close to being stopped out here. And then today, you're sure you're down slightly. Or probably that stop loss would have been above there. You would have been having above there. And that is And there is our 3-to-1 on that. Did anyone take the German DAX short? Or is that one that you guys stayed away from? Does the 4-hour hold anything? No, it doesn't. But you use your daily levels to jump down into the lower time frames. Shane got stopped out. Did you take that in a smaller time frame, Shane? So depending on the broker, the chart may look different. 4-hour. Okay, cool. Okay. So there is a potential short and not there. But again, it's one of these things that we have to now wait and see. This is, again, are we getting a selling momentum here? Yes, we have, as in this has made a lower low. But then if we're looking at this now, we've now made a higher high. We have a double top or slightly lower low. The market is starting to sort of slow down here to the downward side, isn't it? So this is potentially giving us the idea that this may potentially turn. That's what the market is telling us here at the minute. There may not be as much sellers in the market as buyers or sellers as there once was. The French CAC was much more bearish than the German DAX. But since that initial pop down, it has literally moved sideways. It hasn't gone anywhere at all. So if you took that one, you would have got in underneath that green bar there. You'd have been in, and you're slightly up at the present moment. But is there a trade on this now? Nope, stay away from it. No trade on it at the moment. Again, the UK 100 looks very similar to the German DAX. It looks like there's the left shoulder, there's the head, and there's the right shoulder. We could use this as the neckline here. And when it breaks the neckline, you would expect it to pop to the upside. But again, we are in a bearish market across Europe and the US. Are we massively bullish on this yet? And the answer is probably not. So just to you guys, do you think that this is now the turn across these markets, or do you think this is, we just have to wait and see? What is your opinion? Do you think this is the turn, or are do we have to just wait and see? What is your opinion? Okay, sounds like a lot of safe money at the minute. Yes, but wait and see is probably the best scenario here. Just wait and see and let it run, let it go. China 50. We talked about a potential trade on that. And anyone that took the trade here would have been triggered in and then stopped out. Okay, so again, this has gone very flat. It's gone very, very flat. It's now made a higher high. But then we've had two big selling bars in a row here. So again, on this one, we have to just wait and see and leave it alone. So US oil. I know US oil is one of those things that some of you guys are trading, some of you guys are not. Now, we didn't really have any trades in this one. There was nothing really going on. We had sort of this trend line here. And there wasn't much setting up on this. So, and again, in the grand scheme of things, for us to trade, we would sort of expect that to come back down to there. It's not, there's nothing there telling us that this shouldn't be an area for us to trade, but we just have to sit and wait. If this takes off without us, then brilliant. If it doesn't, then it doesn't. So at the minute, oil is not something I'm looking to trade. There doesn't seem to be any great momentum in it at the moment. So let it come back into this area. If it comes back to here, then we can potentially look at it. So this is a trade that we talked about. Well, I actually talked about both trades here. Let's have a look at both of them. So did anyone take this from Sunday's webinar? Last trade. There we are. So we talked about this trade as a buy, long position. So talk about this as a buy. So stop loss goes up a fraction there. So at this particular point, we're using that red bar here. So entry above it, stop loss below it, 5.1, and our stop loss, our take profit was somewhere around there. Our take profit was somewhere around there. And then I notice this is a short position. Potentially talked about taking this as a short position here. Having my entry a little bit higher. Okay, so we're up around here. So we risked 5.1, and at this point it went up to a 6.7. So almost a 1.2 to 1. So 1.3 to 1. Okay. So 1.3 to 1. Now the question I posed Sunday was, yes, this is a buy here, and then pops up. And then once it hits the ceiling, will it continue going up? Or will the sellers take over? Will this continue going? Or will it jump in here and come back down? So Shane took this from the webinar last week. What is your way of managing this, Shane? Is it that you think that this will drop? Do you think this will hit that ceiling and then come back down, or do you think this will continue going? What do you think will happen with this, guys? Because remember, managing a trade is also as important as actually getting the trade correct. So it doesn't have to be Shane answers. What do you guys think? If you had this trade and you were 1.3 to 1 up, would you be taking profit in this trade? Or do you think it'll hit its head and then come back down? Now, there's no guarantee that the sellers will jump in, but what we have to do is we have to look at, is that a key area for it to drop? Or is that a point where we can actually jump in? Now, what you could do is what Bummy has just said there, is you could par close the trade and trail your stop loss up. So it means that you physically do not have a loser, and if there's upside, then you get the remainder of the upside. What some people have done is jumped out of it now and potentially taking a short as this comes down. But for me, it has to hit this level here before I'm looking to take a short. I'm not taking this as a thing for a short, but let's drop down to the 4 hour and let's have a quick look. And this for me is not a good enough price action for a short yet. That price action there is not good enough for a short. Yes, we have an inside, but I'd like to see it pop up, hit this ceiling, and then come back down as a high test bar or a Twizzler or a spinning top or whatever you guys call them if you're trading candlesticks. But a little high test bar will be exactly what I'm looking for at that particular point. Okay, so we're now there. I refresh the page. So let's pop up and have a look at the daily. So in this particular scenario, you'd be triggered in, and this one went up, hit profit, hit the ceiling, come back down, and in this particular scenario, we'd now be in a short trade. I do apologize, the internet is not great today. So there are the two scenarios. So now let's see what happens. But again, I don't know whether it's going to be continue coming down. This may be that play already. That may be the play already, and then it just continues going up. I can't guarantee it, but as a trader, I'd be looking at this as a double top. I'd be looking at this as massively overextended, and I'd be looking for an opportunity for the sellers to come in. And that for me is an opportunity for the sellers to come in. So again, if you took that trade, well done. Let's see how it plays out. But yeah, anyone that took those trades, good trades. They look good at the minute. Just keep up the good work. So let's have a look at silver and gold. Now I know there's a couple of levels on this here. And And this one here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bounces, and we're back at that area again. There is a nice high test bar there. And that there looks like the trade. Now, with this particular one, if we're looking to trade this, there's a few things we sort of have to take into consideration. And the most important one is what US dollar is doing. So whatever US dollar is doing, we have to take that into consideration here. Yes, we are at a pretty decent level. Absolutely. We have really nice price action here. Today's bar again is an inside bar, so it's again fueling the thought pattern that the buyers have now running out of steam here. So let's have a quick look at gold. Gold is very similar. Problem with gold is I don't see any massive level there. I don't see any massive level there. We do have a very small support and resistance line there. The price action on gold is not as nice as silver. Okay, we do have a high test, but it's not quite as nice as on silver. Entry there, stop loss here. Question is that trade valid? But again, before we can answer that, we do have to go and have a look at US dollar. So there is a potential trade there. We have the inside bar here. Yes, I understand that the inside bar is not finished. And this may be when the US market opens at half 2, this may then have a rally or a drop. But so far so good. We'd be looking at this and expecting this to drop. Let's have a look at Euro USD. So Euro USD, which is similar to the Dixie, okay? Euro USD, we've had Euro strength, haven't we? We've had Euro strength over the last week. Which means then that we're having a little bit of dollar weakness across the board. We've had a quick look at Aussie. Again, look, Aussie strength. Again, look, Aussie strength, or GBP strength. CHF strength. NZD strength. JPY strength. CAD strength. Okay, so over the last 10 days, we've had dollar weakness, and we've had strength across every single one of these. But the question is this the moment that we're expecting this to turn? So let me have a quick look at Euro, because that's the most important one. So Euro is, if you're looking at the Dixie, the dollar index, Euro is weighted 60% against that. So let's have a quick look up at the weekly chart. And there's nothing really jumping at me at this level. A couple of touches back there, but nothing There's nothing massively jumping out other than a couple there. So do we think this is the best level in the world? No. So in this particular scenario, just say this bar finishes like this. So just imagine this is 10 o'clock at night and the bar is just about finished, okay? Would we be looking to take that short? So imagine this bar just finishes like that. Would you guys be looking to take this short? Or do you think there is still room for, do you still think there's room for dollar weakness? What do you guys think? Which of the two scenarios do you think is the most likely? So trend is broken, dollar weakness has arrived. I actually think there's a high probability of this dropping down. I actually think there's a high probability of this coming down. Now, will it come the whole way down to here? Maybe not. But I do think there's actually going to be a couple of days of dollar strength, if I'm being honest. Because has any of the landscape really changed? The war in Ukraine is still valid. The energy crisis is still going on. The US are not as reliant as we are on oil. Inflation is hitting everyone across the world, so it really makes no difference what country you're in, you're getting hit with inflation. So do I expect this to continue dropping? Probably. But again, it's a feeling rather than a really hardcore level. Okay, so out of the three of them, we have the likes of euro here. We have gold here. And we have silver here. Which of the three, if you were taking one, is the best trade? Silver, gold, or euro? Now, when I say euro, I mean the dollar index. Which of the three would be if you had to take one? Absolutely. Silver looks the better. Silver looks the better of them, yes. Well done. So for me, if you had to take one, silver for me would be the trade if you did take one. But again, I'm not saying that's what we're doing. I'm not saying that we should be taking one, but if you had to take one, silver will be the better of the setups. Is there anything in particular any of you guys want me to go through? We've about 5 minutes left. Has anyone got anything in particular you want me to run through over the next 5 minutes? China. We sort of did China. China has a double top there. It also has sort of a floor there. So if we were taking this short, my take profit would probably be inside there if I was taking that. But again, it is pretty flat. It is pretty flat through this whole section. Well, okay then. No one else has anything else to go through. Look, I do apologize about the internet. It's absolutely annoying. And look, hopefully everyone has a lovely day. If you need any help from me, jump in onto my Discord or message me directly and we'll help you with anything you guys need. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much. Hope you have a lovely evening.